Still,
What's
still good.
good, brother? We back at it again with the Workman podcast. How you feeling, Chris?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What's popping with you, man?
Man, I'm cooling, bro. We got the upgraded production in this bit now, man. We making moves. We getting it, bro. How you feeling,
Yeah,
man?
yeah. You at 2.0. I'm still at 1.0. I'm
Hey,
just
man,
coming.
one step at a time, brother.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we working on it though. Investments being made. Yeah,
You
but I'm
folks
good
still got
though,
the work clothes on. Look like
bro. I'm telling you, man.
ain't had time to do nothing yet.
I haven't even had a chance to take them off, bro. Like,
Ain't stop moving.
can't stop moving. That's just how it is, though. Like when you really putting in work, like you really just your days just go fast, and you ain't got time to do a whole bunch of stuff. Because
Exactly.
sometimes you ain't got time to sit there and like relax or decompress. Sometimes you have to make time for it, but sometimes you just gotta push through the day and just finish everything you had to
Yeah,
knock off the
sometimes
list.
the calendar just be jam packed, bro.
Yeah,
Like
no
ain't nothing you can do about it. This is how it is.
facts.
I mean,
Facts.
one day it's gonna calm down though. Maybe.
You said one day.
Maybe one day.
So the way I really think about it, bro, like I thought about that for real. Like that's really what we chasing right now. We chasing the freedom to sit there and really just like be able to sit there.
Right.
But I can do whatever I want with my day. But I really think because of like not only how blessed we are, but I see the vision of where things can really go. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And I would think like the 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 scale of the things that we want, right? The bigger
Right.
prize. I really think that we ain't gonna stop working for real. It's gonna be consistent
Oh
work.
no, it's gonna always, get more and more.
You know,
It's just
but
always good to hope for it.
I think it's really just gonna be more so we're gonna get to the point where we're actually using our time for what we want. So then it's gonna feel like
Exactly.
we're not busy for real. When we
It's
really
gonna
are,
feel timeless. Yeah,
right.
exactly. I
So I
think I think I think that's really what I'm chasing because we ain't never gonna stop working. It's called the Workman Podcast. So we're gonna be putting in work. It's just what type of work we gonna be doing. You feel me?
right.
I'm trying to impact lives. I will impact lives. You feel me?
That's the most important part, bro. I will. A lot of people
Yeah.
forget that. It's doing that, just changing that part of your mindset and your that little change on a daily can mean a whole lot because now you're hitting yourself say, I will do something instead of, oh, I'm gonna try or
Right.
probably or I think so. Like now you're leaving room for error. You don't want to leave your room. You don't want to leave
Don't even leave
any
room for any failure. You feel
type of
me?
error at
Knock
all.
all that out right now.
Because once
But
you
yeah,
do that,
bro, we got a lot to cover, son. So I'm gonna just go ahead. We're gonna get right into it. So today's topic is environment and exposure. So I was talking to my girl and we were kind of just discussing life and just Joseph for real. And the topic of like environment and exposure came up because I was talking about how it's crazy how a lot of people don't really feel the need to, I guess, push themselves or strive for their purpose or find a purpose or live a maximum potential life. But she kind of like brought me back to reality. She was like, you got to understand, like, not everybody's in the same place in life. Not everybody has seen the same things in their existence so far. So you might have been exposed to things that might have shifted your mindset at an early age that they haven't even experienced yet. So they still kind of stuck in the cycle of, their immediate environment. And I was like, dang, like that's so true because just the opportunity of being able to play like travel baseball, like just going around the state of Louisiana. Some people don't even go out the city, you know,
and it's
and
crazy,
I'd
bro.
be taking that for granted. Yeah, like
Like I really like met people that like haven't even been to the east. They grew up in Uptown their whole life. Like
right, that's
haven't left Uptown.
crazy.
Like haven't left Uptown. But the city only like 30 minutes apart, like to each end of the city for real. If that. You feel me? You telling me you ain't never loved Uptown, you ain't never loved the seven. Like you've been in the seven your whole life.
Your whole life, like just been there, like
Like you've
day in
been
and day out. Never
and
took a vacation nowhere, like never. And that's one thing I gotta appreciate because like even since I was younger, like we would go on like family trips like every other year, or like just with a big group of the family, my grandma, my uncles and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
like, even if we just go like Mississippi or like Biloxi or something like that, that's still out the state. You feel me? But a lot of people don't leave Louisiana, and it kind of make you stuck in your ways and only seeing one way of life. And you don't even see the opportunities or like the different perspectives that, is still out there and abundantly out there in the world. And I feel like that's kind of the things that can, I guess, confine you into just remaining the same and just continuing to do the same thing every day because you've never even seen it. So it doesn't even exist to you. You feel me?
Right. And like I said, with the travel baseball, bro, went everywhere by the time I was 13. I had been at least been to Tennessee. I had been to some part of Texas, and I've been all over Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Went to Florida multiple times. You see what I'm saying? So it's like but it's like you're right. Like if you haven't seen that or been exposed to that, you won't even know what it really is like to be able to expand your mind because you haven't even been exposed to anything that allow you to do that. So all you see is what you see, and all you know is what you know. You know, and that's why it's really imperative that it takes like people like us. I feel like that have gone and seen those things and experienced those things, and just be able to come back and preach to preach to kids that was in our position. You see what I'm saying? Like, bro, there's more than just this out here. Like, there's more than just the city. There's more than just Mississippi. Like, there's more than just Slidell. There's more than just Mississippi. Like, there's a whole world of things. Like, there's a whole world of everything just to go and experience. And I can remember since I was young, that's always what I wanted to create. Because you see, and I thought about this the other day, and I thought it was so crazy. Like, since I was young, I thought about, I want to go see the world. I want to go to Tokyo. I want to go to some part of Europe. Like, I want to go to Africa. Like, I want to go to all these different places, because what people don't realize is that when it comes to all these different places, we only see what the media or what those places look like to us, if that makes sense. Like, it's only given from a certain perspective. So for instance, like Africa, I feel like when people initially think of Africa, they think about people running with no shoes on and in huts and stuff like that.
Right.
When it's like really in different parts of Africa, it's like some of the richest parts in the world. Like, the whole world, like, they have riches in Africa. You see what I'm saying? And
Africa is the wealthiest country ever as far as resources. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but
and I didn't even know that until I started like reading into it and started looking at different sides of it instead of just going based off just CNN or like some TV station, and actually like digging in, doing my own research, due diligence, and I was like, dang, like the richest person in the whole universe who ever lived was from Africa and lived in Africa.
Was it Massa Messa?
Mm-hmm. Massa Musa.
Massa Musa. That's what it was. Yeah, let me get that right.
Messi Maya.
Messi, chill out. You joked.
Nah, bro. Like, it just made me think, because it made me think back to slavery as well. Like, a lot of times when slaves were able to be free, they would go back to slavery because they didn't even understand what life would be like as a free person. They were so afraid of being free because they were never exposed to it. They rather just stay in their comfort zone and just remain, under these terrible rights, or not even have rights, just under these terrible conditions, and constantly being beaten and, slaughtered and stuff like that. And continue to work for free just to stay within a confined space because they didn't even know what was out there in the world. Because they was like, if this is bad right here, imagine what it's like out there without protection from my master or something like that, So
right, and that's that conditioning, and that's just the system put in place. And so when we think about that, like, you can think about think about the school system, bro. Like, they really pretty much program us to work. Like, that's why, you think about it, the desks are in perfect rows. You're facing one person, right? As opposed to, if you really want to learn, it's supposed to be a collaborative environment. Why we not sitting in a circle, facing each other, seeing each other?
Little stuff like that, bro. I didn't even notice. Dang.
Right. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That's something, like, when I was taught, thank God I was kind of almost broken free from that mental kind of chain when I was in high school, and I was taking this AP English class with students at the center, and it was an AP English class with Jim Randalls and Kalamu Yasalam. That was probably the most awakening experience that I had in my last 2 years of high school, and it made me think so much differently about not just the system that's in place in the schools, or in the country, or in this world, but also like the mental confinements that's been placed on us for real, from just what we see on a day-to-day basis. You see what I'm saying? And so it's little stuff like that kind of will open you up, and that's the exposure, right? That's the exposure that we're talking about, and it could be something as little as reading a book. All that exposure came from just reading books, right? Like Guns, Germs, and Steel teaches you about capitalism, about the history of this world, and about how basically this country is based on imperialism and capitalism, right? Using guns, germs, and steel. You feel what I'm saying? Everything from the Reconstruction era to the Civil War, everything, right? And it comes to how racism takes place, different things like that. So different books that open your mind up to different areas of thought that's outside of the box. For real.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? That's
because they always say, like, if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in the book, because nobody usually going to take the time to go sit down and actually try to gain that knowledge on that insight that people put inside books. Because the reason why people back then used to write everything is because they didn't really have a source of media like this. So back in the day, writing was the main source of media to spread a message and print it and get it, distributed out. So, now we have cameras and microphones, so we can distribute this message a lot, more fluently, easily, and express it to people. So that's really a gift. I feel like now is just finding, I guess, working through the shuffle to find out what's like the fluff and what's the real things that you need to be listening to, because there's a lot of platforms that are kind of like blinding us still, because there's so many messages being put out. You don't know what's the right message, So it's just kind of like flooding the market right now. So you gotta kind of cipher through what you want your feed to look like, because with all these algorithms in the social media platforms, you can flood your whole timeline with just negativity if you continue to watch the same thing over and over, because they're gonna be like, oh, you like that, so I'm gonna keep feeding it to you, and you might not ever get to another positive message, for that day. So it's just finding the right messaging and continuing to program yourself, because we constantly being programmed in either the negative way or the positive way. You just got to decide which one you want to go with.
Right, exactly. And that even comes all the way down to not just like I've seen such a change in my own feed, like as my mind is continuing to grow for real, and I'm thinking about all the stuff that used to be on my feed,
exactly.
like especially when I was in college.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a difference. Like and now I see myself, and then I'm not even on social media like that anymore. I'll scroll, but I make sure a lot of things that I am scrolling or seeing is stuff of like, I see a lot of positive affirmation. I see a lot of stuff about business, stuff about building wealth now, because that's what I changed my feed to basically be around. So now all the ads that pop up are of entrepreneurs or people that are basically trying to provide the financial freedom to people, or try to provide the information to people. But then that in itself, you have to sift through that information as well. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Anybody can go on Instagram and sponsor an ad, and it just be BS. You see what I'm saying?
Because I remember, like, when I first graduated, that transition from college to, being in the workforce, it was crazy. Like, my feed used to just be like clothes, music, like advertising, like food advertisements, music videos and stuff like that. And now as I, change who I follow, change the things that I like the most, change the stuff that I, go view, who pages I go look at. It's crazy, like the amount of change that your feed can make, and then how much that can affect your overall day too, in the way that you process and think on a, just throughout your entire day.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly taking in this information, it's going to change the way that you think and the way that you perceive life.
It really
is. People really have different perceptions of life, and it's crazy.
And they become when it comes to relationships, like people see like you can go scroll through your feed and see so much stuff about you know, if your man ain't doing this, he ain't doing nothing. Or if she ain't doing this, she
Oh, those be the ones, bro.
those be the ones. And so like when you see that every day, you start thinking like, maybe I need to start looking for these things because that's what
Yeah.
everybody else
And
is
then that's
doing.
when the arguments start. And it's crazy because like that's really how a lot of arguments used to be like in college and stuff like that. You're not doing this and that, so you don't like what that even came from? When was that expectation
Right.
told to
Exactly.
me? I didn't even know that was something that you wanted, like you enjoy or what you like.
You didn't communicate that. We had
Right.
a conversation.
At least talk to me about that first before, you know. But yeah, but I think that's huge. And another point, I kind of want to take a look at it from like the athletic side because I feel like me and you, we both have an athletic background. We know a lot of athletes, student athletes, you know, people who went professional, people who, you know, semi-pro. So kind of just to make it relatable, as far as environments, you could take a look at a team like the Cleveland Browns, like how they constantly lose or constantly have like 22 different quarterbacks in the span of 20 years or something like that. But then you take a look at a team like the New England Patriots, you know, they only have one quarterback for like 15 years, and then you know his name. And it's just what's the difference in those teams because they're both NFL teams. They both had, you know, a bunch of good draft picks. I'm pretty sure that the Browns had a whole lot of good players that came through their system. So what's the real issue as far as you executing on a daily basis? And to me, it has to be the culture or the environment. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like the coaching staff, the GM, the fans, you know, how they interact with the players, just the overall vibe that you get when you walk in the stadium. I feel like that can make a difference in the way that you play. Because even Odell Beckham, he was playing great for the Giants. Then he went played for the Browns, and it's like you haven't heard really anything major from him yet. It's like he kind of
Right.
disappeared.
Right.
And I feel like if he would have went to a different team, like if he would have went to the Patriots, you probably still see him, you know, playing great because Antonio Brown did it, and he was doing good with Tom Brady, you know. So he got more trouble, but you know, as far as like him being a great player, I feel like the environment has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, bro. And then even when you think about it from like, even when you're thinking about it like that, you know, the environment plays such a vital role because as soon as it's like it just takes a core group of people to really change the culture of of the system, right? So it's about what the system is in place. People don't realize a lot of this stuff about systems. What system do you have in place? It's a system that you have in place to follow your own schedule. There's a system in place when you go to practice. You see what I'm saying? But people don't realize that there's a purpose behind the system. And I feel like you can tell like every player that's come through the New England Patriots system has said like Bill Belichick don't play that. It's definitely
Yeah,
it's a specific
it's
it's a
a respect
specific
thing.
culture that you once you come in, you're gonna have to respect it and you're gonna be about it, or we're gonna kick you out because we don't really need you because the system already in place. So anybody we bring in here is gonna do well because we have the system.
Like with Cam Newton, bro. Like he didn't
Exactly.
respect the system. He wasn't willing to, I guess, put down the ego. He had some issues. He had some more off the field issues, you know, with the whole, you know, vaccine thing. But I just feel like Cam Newton is not that type of player to where he's gonna put himself on the back burner for the team necessarily. You know, he's a great leader. He's a great player, but I don't see him being a guy that fits the New England Patriots system just because of how flamboyant he is, how you know exuberant he is, you know,
Yeah.
and like
That
he's
is a
very
fit for the
outgoing.
system.
Yeah,
That is
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
that
I
is
don't mean that he wrong for it. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
it
exactly.
just
That is
might not be a good fit. Like you look at Mac Jones, who came from Alabama. You know,
right.
that's a Bill Belichick type system. He already done went through Nick Saban, who's probably a better coach than Bill Belichick, if we being honest. And then you
Yeah,
go to Bill Belichick, it's like you already in that mindset. And then Bill Belichick probably looking at him like, I could see him, you know, he gonna listen to us. He gonna execute. He gonna make the safe play. He gonna make the right play. He might be able to. Cam Newton might be able to make a bigger play every now and then, but can we trust him? That's the thing. And I feel like their systems and their culture and their environment just screams trust and execution and being humble and you know sticking to the plan. So
right. Right. And I think that's probably why. And when I was thinking about it, I'm like, there got to be a reason because it's not skill level.
no,
It's,
it's not skill.
and like when you think about that, let's think about it. Like when you think about all the players that we may know growing up, or all the old heads that we knew growing up, or even people we played with, right? You know, they say like, yeah, he was a good player. He was a hard head. And he listened, you know? And so that plays a big factor. And I don't feel like a lot of, and I feel like honestly, that's one of the reasons why we were able to um, be able to balance this, be able to balance the life of a student athlete on and off the field. Just because of the fact that we were able to just absorb everything and listen and put our best foot forward and whatever we needed to do, we just did it. You know, whatever culture we needed to help create, we did that. You know, I feel like that's honestly, and that just led into our personal lives. You know what I'm saying? Because once you
We even tried to implement systems. Remember when we came up with the whole system, like the accountability teams and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So it didn't work out, but you know, we tried our best. You know, we as players, we came up with a system to hold each other accountable. So you know where our heads was at least.
Right, exactly. So that's how forward, that's how thinking, that's how you gotta be able to think and be able to that's the type of environment that you have to put yourself in to be able to think that way. That way you're able to execute, and that way you're able to see the progress. Because if you're not able to be in that environment, right, then you're not going. If you're not in that type of environment, then you're not going to go in anything. You're not going to do the things that you said you're going to do, or that you say that you want to do. Just like they say, you show me your friends, I show you your future. You feel me? So if you run surrounded, if you flocking, right? They say birds of a feather flock together. You feel me? So if you hanging with people that their mind isn't on, let's say if you're a student athlete, for example, if you hang with somebody that's, well, I mean, for one, outside of your team, and two, and they don't really have nothing going on. Number one, if they're not an athlete, okay, cool. What else are they doing outside of that? What else are they focusing on? What else do they have going for them? Do they have a plan? They're trying to start a business? Are they like focused in their books? You know what I'm saying? Are they do they exemplify those characteristics that you know that you need to be able to excel, and you can see yourself excelling in as well? Like, do y'all have the same mindset when it comes to certain things? And I feel like once you identify those people, like I feel like that's one thing I've been able to be good at, is be able to find those people that have the same mindset. Like, I'm cool with everybody now. I'm not saying I don't mess with everybody, because you see, not social blind. I'm cool with everybody.
You can have like acquaintances and stuff like that, but who you spending the bulk of your time with, like even like Derek and Brian, they didn't play sports at Tuskegee, but you know, we hung out with them so much, you know, in Foster. Those became like our best friends at Tuskegee, you know. And we still got a group message to this day and still carry that relationship out, because we like-minded individuals. We don't have to be doing the exact same thing, but the fact that we, you know, on the same tip, even though they don't have, you know, practice, they don't gotta wake up early in the morning, you know, go to games and stuff, but we respect them because they still on the same mission. They still got the same end goal. You feel me? Even if our process and the way about going about it not the exact same, it's just the fact that you even on the same wavelength, I can rock with you.
And not only that, but they were supportive too.
Very supportive.
They were supportive, just like we were supportive of them when they was going through stuff or doing different things. They were supportive of us and everything that we had going on. You see what I'm saying?
They will always look out, bro, and they were super understanding. And that's how you could tell a friend from like an acquaintance or somebody that you just cool with, because some people, bro, they would not look out for you or be supportive because they're jealous of where you at. And it could be like somebody that you can call your best friend might be jealous of you. Yeah. And you can feel that energy, you know, and it's very evident. And that's why it's like easy for me to feel those energies. And that's why I just like separate myself from people who, you know, who make me feel that way. And I just invest more into the people. Like, I can feel a good vibe when I'm around it, bro.
Yeah, it's an energy, bro. Like, the energy vibrates. Energy vibrates when it passes from one person to the next. So that's like, so even though I know a lot of people, like, there's only so many people that I'm really like cool with, like I'll really go to war with. Like, and it's you and Tyler. That was the first two people that come to mind.
Exactly. That's family.
Like, as far as like that's past that. You feel me? That's past just the friends or whatever. And of course, my old lady been holding it down for about 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm saying, but as far as my friend group, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Friend group, It's like it's
As
hard to
far as
find.
brothers, you feel me? Yeah.
It's like we more than friendly brothers for real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So no night, day, and I can call it anytime. Even if you miss my call, I know you're gonna call me back. You see what I'm saying? Like I know it ain't nothing to be understood. I mean, there's nothing that has to be, really explained.
Overanalyze, yeah.
Overanalyze. Like I know what's good. Like if you ain't answer, obviously you're
I
doing
already know
something.
what's up.
Hit me
Yeah,
back when
ain't
it's
no
whatever.
issue.
Yeah.
Some people they'll see your call and just claim to be your friend. But yeah, let's talk about that. Kind of leads us into. I wanted to hit on this. I was like doing some research. I was looking at an article and it was talking about 5 ways you may unintentionally be living a toxic life. So there's 5 ways that you might be unknowingly living a toxic life, and these 5 ways are: your partner is always putting you down. You want to make your parents more proud of you than you want to make yourself proud of you. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get caught up. The third one, we already hit on this, your best friend is jealous of you. And you kind of know it, but you don't do nothing about it. You just keep moving.
You don't address it. You don't even ask the question like, hey, like what's good, man? You straight? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Then the 4th one is you lose yourself around other people. Okay. And then the 5th one is living conditions. So like say like you live like in a toxic environment, just like as far as you don't feel safe or you don't, feel comfortable where you're at, and you just don't want to be there, so you just got to relocate or something like that. Like your house or your apartment.
And you realize that like that living conditions is like the last one of those
right.
5. So it's like
exactly.
It's a lot more other factors that you got to pay attention to besides your living conditions. Because like even for I have a personal example, like me and my lady were just living in the studio, and it was a whole bunch of issues going on with it. You know what I'm saying? With the real estate people, all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? We got to the point where it's like, if God tell you to move, you to move. And so we moved. And then now it's like, okay, that just played that much of a role. Now I'm in a better space where I can actually.
And it's crazy because like I could really see it, son.
Yeah, you could tell.
Before when I would talk to you, I could see like you was kind of have something like in the back of your mind that you always be worried about, or like you didn't feel energetic because like maybe just the whole vibe in the house or the whole apartment complex just didn't feel right, and it made your energies off, and like I can kind of sense that, and I feel like ever since you moved, our conversations just been a lot more fluid because I feel like you don't have that cloud hanging over you,
Right. It's like, and that it plays a role just because of the fact that, like you said, it's like a cloud. Like, so when you don't worry about your living conditions, you worry about, dang, like it may be bugs, it may be the holes in the wall, it may be, you might have people that's upstairs next to you making all types of noise throughout the night, whatever the case may be. And that's why I feel like for a lot of kids, like especially like teenagers, if you change the environment, which is something as simple as their living conditions, you will probably see a lot more productivity, and you probably see a lot more energy out of them, and then them allocating their time to more productive activities. Because now they're not worried about the living situation. Especially the young kids who like maybe they see their mama get up and go to work, and she got to work 3, 4 jobs, whatever, or 2, 3 jobs, whatever the case may be, and she got to put food on the table. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of things that like actually have to work, but like my mom even had to actually tell me, and my mom was school teacher. Mom school teachers don't make a whole lot. So she was like, she even told me, and that's what kind of put me in a mental space to always make sure I focus on getting what I need to do done. Because she was like, even despite our situation, after my dad had passed and she got to work and everything else like that, I got 3 little sisters. So even despite that, she was like, don't get a job. Don't worry about getting a job right now. Just because when you start making money, that's all you're gonna think about.
That's all you're gonna think about. Yeah,
right. So
I can agree with that, bro.
And she was like, right now, you got baseball and you got school, and you're doing well on both of them. You're gonna go to college. I'm not worried about you going to college, but you got to get there. So only way you're gonna get there is if you focus. It's if you focus on your school and your baseball. You see what I'm saying? And so those was my tools. So I'm like, okay, that my mama just removed the cloud from over my, even though I thought about it from time to time, it still was like she put a lot of emphasis on me not worrying about trying to make money because we good. Like whether you see it or not, we're good. So don't
That
worry.
peace of mind, bro, it does a whole lot, man. That just peace of mind is, I feel like, one of the most underrated things in the world. Because
Right.
just living in fear and worry and anxiety, it causes you to miss opportunities, and it causes you to kind of tiptoe through life instead of actually like striding. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when you start, missing out on a lot of things that you could be doing, because you're constantly in worry and you're acting in fear instead of looking at the world, and it kind of blinds you, and you got tunnel vision because you're just trying to make it through instead of actually trying to, project positive energy. You projecting negative energy, deflecting things from you, you pushing things away from you because you're so worried.
Yeah, bro. It makes a big difference, bro. But the relationships, the toxic related, your partner putting you down,
Oh
that's a big
yeah.
one.
The part I feel like out of it's to me it's between the partner putting you down and the making parents proud.
Those are top two for sure.
That's
That's
the
top two.
two. Because I feel like the making your parents proud, that was one I kind of got stuck in a loop of,
Mhm.
because I actually had to tell my dad one time. I was just like, "Hey, bro," like he had called me. He was like, "Yeah, like I heard the song you made. Uh, you sure that's the type of music you want to be putting out there? You sure that's what you want people?" I was like, "Hey, bro, to be honest, I don't really care what you think. Like that's what make me happy. I'm expressing myself. If I don't express it that way, I'm gonna express it another way. So it's either you gonna accept it or you not, and you gonna like it or you not. You ain't gotta listen to it. Your friends ain't gotta listen to it. You feel me? I ain't trying to be I said it. I was like, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna just be happy, bro. Like that's all I could do.
Yeah, that's just man to man, bro. Like
Yeah,
that's a man to man
I had to
conversation.
keep it a grip with him, son. He was just like, and I feel like he respected that, because I was really like one of the first times, like I was really just like, bro, I don't care what you think, like,
Right.
and not even on no disrespectful stuff.
And it gets to a certain point where you gotta like we have to say that.
Right.
You know, you have to say that. And that's one thing I think I can, like I said, I appreciate my mom and just how open and how like and just the type of woman she is for real. Like if it wasn't for her, I really wouldn't have the mindset that I do now. You feel what I'm saying? Or like a lot of opportunities when it came my way because she made sure my mind was in the right place every time before I went and did anything. For certain decisions, she'll let me, have my failures or whatever, but she would always throw that bug in there like, hey,
Right.
you need to be thinking about this for real. But yeah, like it needs to get to a point where you're just like, bro, I don't really care what anybody thinks, not just with your parents, but with anybody that you associate
Right. And it's
with.
crazy because after that, after I released that album and then I released another album, because I thought about it to myself. I was like, I do love making music, but is that the music that I want the world to hear? And I kind of made that adjustment myself instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna just stop making music out of fear. And I'm just be like, how can I rebrand myself and actually like go a little deeper. I put out a new album and it sounded really good. And he actually called me. He was like, I didn't even send it to him. He was like, oh, I just heard it. And he's like, that was like a really good album. Like for real. Like I was
Right,
like, and
right,
now we got that relationship to where I feel like I could share that with him now,
right.
instead of me feeling like I gotta hide it. Because when you feel like you gotta hide something, that's when, you start moving weird and you already know what happens when you start,
Yeah, bro.
moving weird. You miss out on a whole lot. So yeah, I feel like that was a good one. But next thing, bro. Oh man, this one hit different. So you ever like been around somebody and like they be on a high horse because they the best of the worst, you feel me? Like they the best in their area, you feel me?
A
And
lot.
they and they little small town, they the best over there. But as soon as you expose them to, the whole country, the best of the best, now they looking like, oh man, like now they scared, now they, pissing themselves.
Hmm.
You feel me? I feel like a lot of people get caught up in only seeing things that they can actually physically see instead of seeing things as you're competing with somebody in a whole different country at the same time. Like somebody that you don't even know what they look like, what their name is, what they talking about right now. They probably got somebody else trying to do the exact same thing we doing right now.
Yeah.
But you can't focus on that. All you can focus on is being humble, not getting arrogant, because the things that you see in your environment, nobody in our immediate environment that I know is doing this right now. So we can't be like, oh yeah, bro, we the only ones talking like this. Like, nah, bro, they got other people in the world, trying to make a difference too.
Yeah, thanks.
In the second that you get arrogant and trying to overdo it, that's the second that God's gonna be like, all right, take that away from him, give it to them.
Yeah. Do that so quick, bro. Karma is a thing, bro.
All right, bro.
Karma is a real thing. And even when it comes to that, dog, it's like people, I don't know what it is. Like even that's why I'm thankful for baseball, bro. And I always bring this up because that really showed me a lot about life. Like not just playing it, but also like the people that I interacted with day to day. Because the myriad of people that you get in a sport, whatever sport you play, it's gonna get the same people you gotta deal with outside the sport. But now you see that they are actually, you see how people are. You can kind of read people, right? So like, I mean, even people we play with, you see what I'm saying? Like they hoop and holler, when it comes time to playing me or you, right? Or playing with me or you. But as soon as we go out of state to Jupiter, Florida, we start playing against people from Cincinnati and Houston, and, you know what I'm saying? All these different teams from the Venezuela. We played a team full of Venezuelans. Like you see where the difference is at. You see what I'm saying? You really get humble. But if you already humble, it's like, man, I saw this coming from day one. I knew there was somebody.
I already knew, yeah. Like, I already saw the schedule. You feel me?
One of the quotes that I really like that always ring in my head is hard work beats talent, but talent don't work hard. Right. Yep. And so it's like there's always, when we think about that, like the talent pool, you gotta think about it. The higher up you go, you gotta realize the talent pool gets small, right? Right? Because the amount of people it's always gonna be somebody either just as good as you or better than you. You have to go in not only in like to a sport thinking that way, but you have to go into like a life thinking that way. We're not just the only people trying to make millions of dollars. We're not the only people trying to make music that's gonna hit and rock the world. We're not the only people that's trying to make art that's gonna sell for $15,000 a canvas or anything like that. Once you put that in your mind,
you said is always somebody better than you. I feel like I agree partially with that statement, but like one day I was kind of sitting down and thinking about, like, every once in a while I just think about like the common sayings that we say every day. Like people kind of say, it's like there's always somebody better than you. I don't necessarily think that's true, because I don't think there's anybody in this world that could be better than you at being you. You feel me? But there could be somebody who's better than you at being them. So as long as you trying to be you and constantly being you, nobody can touch you. Nobody can be like you, because you have the light of God protecting you, moving through you, because that's your authentic being. That's why you got people like Nipsey Hussle, who might not be as big as Drake, but as far as when he passed away, we talking about him like he was the number one in the game rapper or something like that.
Right.
That's because he wasn't trying to be Drake. But if he was trying to be Drake, we wouldn't be talking about him like that. He was being him in every way.
It's crazy that you say that, bro, because now when I think about it, it's like, I think that was really more so, I think that quote, that was like some of these quotes that we kind of, that we think about, that we say, it's really more so like a psychological ploy for real. It's like, okay, and that's kind of how I took it, but everybody may not take it that way. I took it as, okay, there's somebody better than me, well, I'm gonna be better than them, because ain't nobody about to be better than me. You see what I'm saying? So, but I think, and some people may take it, and some people may even take it as like, okay, there's somebody better than me, then what's the sense of me trying? Like,
Exactly, bro. And I don't
so
want people
so
to
that
think
goes
like
right.
that.
So that goes right back to what you were saying. Like nobody can be better at you. And nobody can be better at being you because you're
Right.
you. God made you uniquely. Like he made everybody in his image, but he made everybody unique. That's why everybody go through
Mm-hmm.
different stuff. You see what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you said that and really like kind of pretty much bust open that whole saying because of the fact that a lot of people there are a lot of people that actually live off those sayings. You know, and
Yeah,
so I'm
bro.
glad that you said that because it made me think about it, like maybe that's because that's how I thought about it every time. Because my mentality is that if there's somebody better than me, that means I always got somebody out to outwork. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't
Mm-hmm.
think like that. You know?
Yeah. But I do agree with that. It's always good to, outwork, the competition. But at the end of the day, there really is no competition when you being yourself. But it's always good to, have that thing that you always striving. When they say like this guy might be the number one, educational platform in the world, he might have the best educational platform. Well, it's okay to be like, no, I want to have the best educational platform to the masses. But that don't mean that you gotta have the exact same platform they have and make it better than theirs, like their way. Do it your way. You feel me? And I feel like it's just, understanding the statement and not, taking it too literal, I think.
Right. And I think that, like, honestly, and also when I'm thinking about it, it's really like one of those things where, you know, when I think about the quote and just saying that, I feel like I've seen my own mindset shift. Because I realized when I was thinking that way, okay, I gotta work, gotta outwork. Somebody was better than me. I then found myself realizing it or not, comparing myself to other people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I started realizing when people were actually better than me in certain aspects, I didn't look at myself and say, okay, now what am I good and what can I be the best at? And that way nobody else is better than me, for real. But there's still a comparison, right? So now I'm more so think, okay, I'm on this journey dolo. I'm walking through this life. It's
Dolo.
you, dolo, for real. It's just you. It's your life, right? So you can only be better than you were the day before. So what am I gonna do now to be better than I was the day before, or than I was 5 minutes ago, right? You know what I'm saying? So that mind shift as I've gotten older and I've grown mentally, I started seeing that shift from thinking, okay, there's always somebody better than you to okay, there's nobody better than me, but how can I be better than I was yesterday? You feel
Mm.
me?
Yep. Yep. I don't know how long we've been on here, bro, but I feel like we've been going for a minute.
Oh yeah, we're on this for a second, bro. You know, we really just run into the topics for real and just start going in.
I should have started a timer, but I feel like we've been going really good. We got a couple more things. Yeah, really just two more things. So let's hit on these. I feel like this is probably the most important part of this. And it's about how you can go about changing your own environment. We kind of hit on it a little earlier as far as like the Instagram feed or the Twitter feed, watching who you follow, the things that you like, that way you can program yourself because you can either be programmed this way or that way. But now a lot of people are like, all right, that's one aspect, but I don't know people. I'm speaking as someone else. I don't know anybody in my city who, is positive. I don't. Everybody wants to drink and go out and party. Nobody wants to, build a business. Nobody can be my mentor. I don't know anybody. Bro, we are in a age where you can go on YouTube and literally have as many mentors as you want.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen so much free game in my life.
For
Bro, you can
real.
literally listen to YouTube from now to the day you die and hear something new every single day. And if you go on somebody's channel, bro, they'll really talk to you like y'all really having a conversation. They're
Mm-hmm.
answering questions and everything. You put them in the comments, they're answering questions.
Right.
And you tell me you ain't got no mentor. You got as many mentors as you want to have.
That's a fact.
And I think as soon as we get out of that scarce mentality, like nobody wants to help you, nobody wants to do this, and you just always a victim,
Mm-hmm.
that's when the whole world gonna shift for you. But until you just flip that switch and be like, boom, all right, let me stop being a victim. Let me see what I can do. who can I listen to on a daily basis? Like for me, the very first person I ever listened to was Eric Thomas. Like, I'm talking about I talked to him. That's how much I listened to him. I'm talking about I talked to him. But nah, it was the very first person I listened to was Eric Thomas, bro. And I remember like something about when he just spoke, it just hit different. You know, like he was actually talking to me, you know, because the things I was going through in my life, I feel like it was the perfect timing for that. And then from there, you know, they started sharing different things to you, like, since you like this, you know, try this. And then you listen to this guy, it's like, damn, it's a different perspective. And you're still gaining more information, and you can kind of use your experience and kind of alter it into your own life and see how it applies, you know?
Right.
Like, it's pretty much like having endless mentors.
Yeah. And I think that, I think when I think back on my journey and people I've listened to, I think that, you know, I've listened to Eric Thomas, but then when you brought him up, it was kind of like a confirmation, like, okay, I've listened to him, but you know, I was hearing him, but was I listening, right? Like, was I listening to what he was saying? And so as soon as you was like, bro, hop on ET, man, like I've been listening to ET, da da da. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and hit back on ET, man, because like I've seen him in videos, I've seen him a couple things, like the more famous ones, but then it got to the point where I was literally listening to him every day, like when I would go when I rode to work in the morning, and then literally got to the point where I would listen to him as I work out or as, you know, on the way to the gym. You see what I'm saying? And then from there, I'm just, like you said, it's just a whole bunch of different other people just started coming into the mix. You know what I'm saying? Like with the whole Earn Your Leisure podcast, I've been listening to that, and I literally learn something new every time I listen to a different podcast. Literally learn something new, bro. So it's like it's really no excuse to really say that you can't change your mindset, because it's all about you taking the initiative to go and want to go look for the information, right? And look for the valid information. But another thing with that is I feel like what holds us back is, especially I feel like within the Black community, honestly, I feel like people try to down people or try to devalue people's experience who haven't been through a whole bunch of struggle. Like, you don't have to come from the dirt to, you know, make this mindset shift to, you know, or to become something big. You know what I mean? Because like we were saying, everybody experience is different. Like,
Yep.
Yep. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy because, like, now that you said that, I actually heard somebody say they don't like, you know, ET because, you know, he talks about how he was homeless and stuff like that, which, you know, that's his experience, and they feel like they can't apply it to their life because to them it's unrelatable because they never been through anything like that. You know, they might have had a good life and they just feel unmotivated, you know, but they feel like they have to have gone through some kind of major struggle, or they have to have been homeless and, you know, eating out of trash cans for them to have to make a mindset shift.
Right.
But no, he's just giving you his experience. So there's no reason to not, you know, validate that. I mean, and in another way around, people are like, oh, he's been rich his whole life. How he gonna try to coach me and tell me how to do it? I've been, you know, poor and struggling. It's like we find any excuse to not take somebody's valuable information and apply it to ourselves. It's like we have to see an exact replica for us to believe it. And it's gonna be hard to find somebody who lived the exact same life as you, because we all live different lives, bro. It's like different fingerprints. We all got different. It's not the same.
Exactly, bro. And then, like, just think about me and you, bro. Like, we have literally come from two different backgrounds. Like, literally. But we are on the same mindset.
And we on the exact same path.
On the exact same path, doing the exact same stuff. So I feel like that's really no excuse for real. You feel what I'm saying? It's all about the individual, you know what I'm saying, to really shift your mindset. You feel me? And it's like, bro, like I'm come from a single parent household. I got with four siblings. You see what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like, our backgrounds are different, but it's like we're on the same path and we're going towards the same direction. That's like, you know, trying to basically say, that's when I hate when people say, you know, oh, he came from money, so he good. Like, that's why he was like, nah. But you know, when you get some money, like, obviously his parents did something to let him know like to allow him to retain them and maintain the money that he was able to get. Because I've also seen people give people money and waste it, like
Exactly.
and blow it all for real, for
Exactly.
real. Like I'm talking about like older people too. Like I'm talking about they've been given whole houses
Right, and
and
then
stuff to
losing
take
some
care of.
houses,
Like it's already paid off. The house already built. It's already paid off. You just have to
but
pay
they
the
can't pay the
property taxes.
taxes.
You can't pay the fucking taxes. Come on, man. And you lose the house. Come on, bro.
That's horrible.
Come on, man. Like
But
there's no excuse.
I
So it's
think as soon as we stop like digging into people's, upbringing, the more that we can, optimize our relationships and kind of see the good and the bad from people and just take it as what it is instead of judging it. You
right.
know, listen to the words that the man is saying to you and not, you know, exactly how he was raised, bro, because we all have our different ways of going through, struggles,
Mhm.
because we all put on this earth to go through tests. So we all are being tested in a different way because we wouldn't be here to just live a easy breezy life like from start to finish. There'll be no
That,
point.
if that was the case, we already be up in heaven already, just
Yeah,
cool.
there'll
Like
be no point.
there'd be no point for real. Like there's
There's
obviously a
literally
purpose
no
that you have to
person in this
fulfill.
world that I have ever heard of that hasn't had any struggle.
Right. Big or small.
Like even Will Smith kids, even like Jaden Smith and Willow Smith and them, like they be going through some
They be
stuff.
going
Like if
through
you
some
really
stuff.
listen,
Like just because they
they
got
be
money don't mean they good. Like that,
yeah, like this
like money don't mean
it's really
everything.
bigger problems.
Yeah, red. When you get money, that's when all the yeah, exactly. So you can't just blame it on like that's why I don't that's why when people have to realize when it's not the money that's a problem. It's not having enough money, right? It's about the things that you're doing on a day to day, right? Because when you start following your purpose, you start actually moving with genuine intentions to become better. Like you're gonna do better, and then as you do better, the money's gonna come because now your focus isn't on the money. But guess what? When you focus on the end goal instead of the process, once you focus on the end goal instead of the process, it's like, okay, like you could be chasing that end goal forever instead of realizing like as you taking steps like down that path, that the process is taking you, you're not really picking up the gems along the way. So you're not really gaining anything to really even get to the destination. You're running on a treadmill. You feel what I'm saying?
Ooh,
Like think about it like think about like literally somebody dangling like a carrot or something over an animal head and get like think about it on like a horse or a camel or something like some animal, right? You're trying to ride it because you're trying to get to your destination. The only way to get that thing to move is to dangle a piece of fruit or some food in front of it, and that's the only thing it's gonna follow. That's us. That's
yeah.
people. And
We don't
guess what?
care where we going.
We don't care where we're going. As long as that thing is in front of us, that's all we know. But as soon as we take it away, you don't know what to do. You lost. You
Ooh.
feel what I'm saying? As soon as you take it away, you lost. So that's why it's important for people to really focus on the process. Where when you were trained animal, when you were trained dog, you gonna move just because you know you need to move, you gonna know where you're going. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like,
That was dang, bro. Yeah, that was some heat. That was some heat. But yeah,
yeah,
I think we gonna end on that. Um, I just want to get his last tip. So tip of the week, man.
what you
This
got
is
for us,
something
bro?
that was just on my heart. Yeah. So ask questions, bro. Like don't be afraid to ask questions. Like if you're in a meeting and you really got a question about something, bro, just be confident and ask it because the most successful people in the world I feel like are the best at asking questions. And that was something I struggled at when I was, coming up and even, early parts of my career, like when I first got there, I felt like
Mm-hmm.
it would be bad if I asked questions. Like I would look bad, I would look like I didn't know nothing. But really, when you don't ask questions, you kind of seem uninterested. You
Yep.
kind of seem like you don't really care about the details. You just going through the motions, just getting by. But when they see that you're curious and you ask the right questions, they're like, ooh, like he really thinking about it, and it kind of intrigued people. Cause like you ever like been in like a webinar, like a conference or something like that, and you hear somebody ask a fire question, and you like, I wanted to ask that, but like they asked it and it sounded so fire. And the person who leading the meeting is like, bro, I'm glad you asked that. Like nobody else asked it, you know? And I feel like that's something that y'all need to know. And it's like, I just feel like that can unlock a whole lot of things. If you don't ask, you're not gonna get.
Bro, there's been so many conferences and so many situations where I've been sitting in the audience, like of a panel audience, and I've been thinking the question like, like, nah, that sounds stupid. I don't know. I don't ask that question. Like thinking about the perfect question when it's like there's really no perfect question for real. And then somebody come up and ask the same exact question I was about to ask, and you know they're like, "Oh, that was a good question." That's the same question I was gonna ask. Like, you know what I mean? So, and I remember like I'll never forget. I think it was like my sophomore, had to be my sophomore, junior year of college. And, you know, I had to go to the UNCF Coke Scholarship Summit every year. And so they always have panels of entrepreneurs and people doing things, and people doing big things with their businesses and stuff like that. And we were at the end, I believe, and they always make the time for Q&A or whatever. And it was like, I remember like, I forgot who was up there. I think it was Coke himself. But I remember literally getting the mic, and it's like I'm nervous. I'm super nervous because I don't never ask questions like that. I just kind of like wait for other people to ask the questions for real. And you know, I just asked them. I said, I think initially that it's my duty here on earth to serve other people. I feel like that's what we're here to do. And like, so what do you feel like I asked them, what do you feel like in the beginning, you know, how did you find your purpose? Like, how did you know this is what you needed to do? Especially like giving scholarships to a whole bunch of students and a whole bunch of minority students. Right. And so he was like, that was a really good question. Like, you know, cause he started thinking back to those days. He old now, he like probably like in 70s, 80s, he's like 70 or something like that. He was like, he gave me this whole elaborate answer. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember that feeling I had just asking that question. I was so nervous. It's like, why do we get so nervous about or feeling so anxious about asking a question?
But I never really understood that either. Like, why do we get so tight about that?
I think I really want to say it's because I feel like I said, it goes back to the system, right? Mm-hmm. And the environment that we're placed in, you know, not just from, you know, not just from like a teacher, student standpoint, but I feel like sometimes, like, especially growing up, when we was growing up, like if you sat there and asked a question, you kind of get played on for real. Like, boy, you sound stupid. Like, why you even ask that question? Like, but not knowing, and it'll just be an initial response from somebody that probably don't even know what's really going on, but they trying to play you because you actually had a question in mind, taking the initiative to ask a question and to learn more. It's like downplaying the
it's like they trying to play you because you trying to get more information than they have. You feel right? Like, bro, how dare you ask a question? Like trying to get more than, well, you know, I already don't know what's going on. You trying to get more? Like,
right. That's really how it sounds like when they say that. So I feel like it's something that's conditioned, and I feel like that's something that's stemming from just, you know, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. Like if it's just within our community. I know, especially in the Black community, for sure. Like it's just something that's, I don't know, just not really like encouraged, like to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? And that can come, you know, I just know my mama used to get mad at me and with me for asking the same or giving the same wrong answer. It's like, you just gave me that answer. Why are you giving me the same answer? I just told you that was
what I thought it was, bro. That's what I thought it was.
But it's like, that's something that I feel like we have to encourage more, like in the community, is to ask those questions, because at that time, you know, like you said, closed mouth don't get fed. So, if you don't ask those questions, you'll never really know. And then you always be thinking in the back of your head, like, what if I would have asked that question? Who knows? That question that you might have asked might have been the key to unlocking the rest of your thought process for the success that you need to have down the line. But we be so afraid to ask those questions that we're basically limiting ourselves. And I found even in my job, like you said earlier in my career, I wasn't asking a lot of questions. I was doing more observing than anything. But then I realized I was really just getting thrown in the fire. So I really had to ask questions, or else I wasn't going to be performing, and then I was going to end up losing my job. So I'm like, well, I'm not trying to lose my job. And if I got to do this role and they expect me to come in and do it, I just need to ask as many questions as possible and talk to as many people as possible. Because I always tell people, even new people that come in, it's gotten to the point where I was maybe like a year, 6 months to a year in, and I was pretty much training people almost. Like, and I was like, well, if you ask me this question, I don't know, but I know to somebody that might know, and I can point you in that direction.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not like I just don't. I may not know at the moment, but I may know somebody that does know, and then that way we can both learn.
It might not even be nothing that you necessarily need to know.
Exactly.
They might just be asking a question that is meant for someone else, and they just happen to ask you first.
Ask me, right? Exactly. So ask questions, people. Like, no, there's no such thing. Like when they say there's no such thing as a dumb question, that's really true. Like even in the workplace, like I had people say
there is some dumb questions.
I mean, there's some dumb questions, but then it's like that's like the more like obvious ones. Like you just basically asked a question about something we just already explained. That's dumb questions. But if you ask
now you're just not listening.
Now you're just not listening at this point. But if you asking something that we haven't really gone over, and it really is really a relevant question, like and it hasn't been explained yet, then it's not a dumb question because nobody explained it to you. Yeah. That's how I feel. But you're right. There are some dumb questions. I just feel like that's the one that's already been explained. That's the only,
exactly. That's the only dumb questions if it's already been talked about.
Right.
I mean, even if it's already been talked about, maybe don't, just ask it outright, just be like, maybe I misheard something, like, kind of like twist it, be like,
twist it a little bit.
I'm just making sure I heard that correctly. It sounded like you said this. Did you really mean,
Yeah, that's what I do all the time. Like I'll mishear some stuff and I'll be like, well, I remember you saying this X, Y, and Z. Is that what you meant, or did you mean something else? Like, can you clarify that for me? Like, I don't know if I heard you correctly. Like, so yeah, man. But asking questions is very valuable. Good pod.
But yeah, man, I think that was a great pod. I really appreciate everybody who's still listening. If you're still on right now, just know it's love. You're gonna hit the link in the bio. We're gonna have the ebook in there free. You feel me? 7 Pillars of Mindset. If you want to get your mind right, you feel me? Just go ahead and grab that. You got anything for the folk?
Man, and I will be dropping the e-guide here soon.
Hey.
Yeah, man, I'm working on this in the process, man. So dropping the e-guide for all those people and all those individuals that, really feel like they need somewhere to start at when it comes to personal finances. I'm not going to tell you how to make $1 million in a day, but I can tell you how to work with what you got right now. And I can give you the tools. And I can give you the tools to build up to that. Because guess what? You're not going to make $1 million in 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is may be. You got to start out with what you have and work your way up. Don't get it twisted and think that, this is just going to happen overnight. And it's not. It's only seemed like it happened overnight because people wasn't looking.
Yeah, because people be like, we made $1 million in 6 months, but they ain't talking about the 4 years before that where they failed this business, they failed at the other business, they lost $20K, they took out a loan, they flipped it, and then they built another business that failed,
and they paid the loan off.
Yeah,
they paid the loan off, and then got some positive cash flow.
Yeah.
Got some positive cash flow, then compounded it, threw it in the IRA.
All that.
That's definitely coming soon, and just stay tuned for more, man. Like there's a lot of stuff coming. You feel me? And I feel like this is really just the beginning of, this is the hub. This is where all the gems get dropped. But a lot of different things gonna be coming from both my end and your end. I know you got a lot of things cooking too. So we're gonna continue to collaborate, gonna continue to inspire, continue to motivate, and just give this life that we have, the best that we can, while we're here. We got today. Can't wait to worry about tomorrow. But I know today was a good day, so I hope everybody had a great and blessed day. My boy, I hope you had a great day. You know what I mean? And just lay your head down tonight and be thankful for the day that you did have. You see
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? And that's what we always got to be grateful. Show
This
gratitude.
man sound like a pastor. Amen.
Chill.
Good night, y'all.